Welcome to this introduction video. The next few minutes the company compliance dashboard is explained and demoed. What is the CCD? Use case 2 targets the integration of MEDINA into a company-specific system, both from a technical perspective as well as from a user perspective. The result of this approach is the company compliance dashboard, short, the CCD, which was developed with a strong consideration its users and their processes, represented by roles and personas. Where is the CCD? The CCD is not located within or as a key result since it is working with their outcome. CCD in the MEDINA architecture. Within another representation of the technical view, you can see how the CCD is well connected to be able to work with the results of MEDINA. What are the benefits of the CCD? Audit automation, supported audit, audit standardization, audit management, audit insights. Audit automation. After setting up checks and evaluations for the technical evidences, assessment results can be automatically and periodically retrieved. Supported audit. The tools represent different applications supporting the user with the audit process. To implement an organizational evidence, AMOE is used, which supports the user in finding the correct evidence in various policies and other documents. Standardized audit. After reaching a certified state, this workflow can be used to maintain the lifecycle of the certificate, with responsibilities towards the metrics already assigned and notifications in case of non-compliance already set up. The results are retrieved from the orchestrator and used for the monitoring. Regardless of the type of the provided evidence, there is one pipeline enabling an output of assessment results being retrieved as standardized units. Also, every catalog for itself has a fixed structure to ensure comparability. Audit insights. The implementation of the company compliance dashboard also enforces the tracking capabilities of cloud solutions for audit evidence. Following options to track changes are available. Every work item a user confirmed with his signature. Everything about the process like current status, and what has happened in the past. All changes to an object can be viewed and even be reverted with the time travel function. Activities within a shared spaces can be summarized and reported periodically. Every object has a log list, tracking from who and when the object was changed. Audit management. The functionality of the Fabasoft cloud was mainly designed for document management with everything that goes with it. Managing audits is basically something different but has some similarities that can be channeled in a way to get the most benefit from Fabasoft cloud functionality. This BMPN diagram reflects the assignment flow later shown in a demo.
Before we jump into a demo, it's important to understand who works with the company compliance dashboard and who does what. The compliance manager has control over all the items and assigns them to the metric owner, who can be seen as head of department. The metric owner knows the most suitable for the actual implementation. He is responsible for the task of assigning and monitoring the task implementation. The metric implementer is then tasked with the actual implementation of the metric using the company compliance dashboard and the MEDINA framework. The auditor reviews the implementation and reacts to non-compliances. The auditor role is yet only a theoretical role, since at the current state of development, the actual integration of the auditor views is only partially done. The demo will start with the compliance manager, who is responsible for the audit, who assigns the compliance task to the metric owner. To start from scratch, we will log in as compliance manager. This snapshot shows the roles of the CCD. We'll now authenticate on the Fabasoft cloud using the compliance manager's credentials. We are now logged into the Fabasoft cloud. Navigate to the CCD and see that we're still logged in as Compliance Manager. Which means we do have the right to access the configuration and to see the team configured for the company compliance dashboard. Being Compliance Manager also means that we can access data directly from MEDINA. The button Get EUCS from MEDINA will start the import of the current EUCS version from the MEDINA catalog of controls and metrics. Is stored within a Fabasoft object called framework. This resembles the hierarchy of the EUCS. The interface of the company compliance dashboard does not only enable easy navigation, it provides many features for the user, such as the possibility to adapt every view to meet the user's needs. Adding columns, filtering, sorting, and grouping can be done within every table view. The next activity for the Compliance Manager is to import a cloud service. The cloud service will only be retrievable if it has been configured in a pre-step. The import function, a list of cloud services is retrieved from MEDINA. Simply choose the cloud service and press import. The configuration of the cloud service is downloaded. A cloud service object is created and the metrics are linked to the cloud service accordingly. You can navigate to the dashboard of the cloud service. The first tile contains a quick overview of the cloud service metadata and configurations. The tile contains a list of all security metrics imported from MEDINA. If the metric is not applicable, it can be deactivated via the property menu. Other properties like compliant and implemented will be set later in the process by workflows. The setup step for the Compliance Manager is to create a target of evaluation. A target of evaluation stands for the smallest unit for which a certification is possible. Or more targets of evaluation can use the same metrics if applicable. Metrics and their status can be shared within the scope of a cloud service. Once again, navigate to the CCD and find the Create Target of Evaluation button. Catalog and the cloud service, a target of evaluation can be created. Let's have a look at the Targets of Evaluations dashboard. The charts visualize the overall compliance state of the target of evaluation per requirement and per metric. And for each metric, an initial workflow is started, giving the Compliance Manager a task to assign the metric to a metric owner. Metrics of the referred cloud service are linked to the regarding requirements of the target of evaluation. If one or more metrics are not implemented, the corresponding requirement remains not implemented, yellow. If the requirement are implemented but one or more is incompliant, a red exclamation mark is displayed, meaning not compliant. If all the metrics covering a requirement are implemented, a compliance status of green is displayed on the requirement. can navigate to his work list, where he can find the assignment tasks. To assign metric owner. Also, a confirmation of this assignment is required. To optimize this activity, Fabasoft UI allows to simply add the requirement property to the view for which you can group or sort. Then simply select multiple tasks and assign them to your metric owner. The MEDINA component MOE is able to find organizational evidence within documents like policy documents. To be able to get organizational evidence suggestions, we need to provide those documents to MOE first. In the cloud service, go to Organizational Evidence. Then click on Organizational Evidence to open the list. Create a new Organizational Evidence file. Choose a name and upload the evidence file as PDF. After uploading the file to the Fabasoft object, you can synchronize with MOE. As you can see here, the document was uploaded to MOE and is currently processing. If the synchronization was successful, a file ID is received and saved as key on the evidence object. After using the synchronization function, the current status is displayed on the organizational evidence object. MOE is then processing when evidences processed states the same number as evidences total. By invoking the sync function, the suggested evidences from MOE is downloaded and linked with the respective metric. The evidence provided by MOE contains the answer to the metric question, such as the keywords and page where to find it in the document. Also, the MOE estimation, wherever the evidence points to compliance or not compliance of this metric, can be found. Let's switch to the metric owner role. The metric owner is responsible for task distribution and making sure the implementation is done. The compliance manager assigns several tasks to the metric owner. He can find these tasks either in the respective target of evaluation or by simply navigating to the work list. If the metric owner accepts the ownership, he also has to choose a metric implementer for the task. The implementer starts off the same way and is also provided with tasks for the assigned metrics. Before choosing a response, the information of the metric can be viewed via properties. Also, the linked description and further information is available in the linked requirement. If the metric implementer has no objections, he accepts the implementation task and proceeds with the actual implementation. Depending on the metric and evidence type, the metric implementer can make use of different tools. Tools like Fabasoft App Telemetry are monitoring the target system to automatically provide technical evidence for the respective metrics. Before we take a look at the implementation via technical evidences, we switch to organizational evidences. Tools like MOE support the implementer with the process of finding and estimating organizational evidences. As we saw before, MOE finds evidence in organizational evidence documents and provides them as suggestions. The implementer simply can navigate to the metric and compare the MOE results linked. When satisfied, he sets the fitting entry as evidence. The MOE result indicates whether MOE estimates the metric to be compliant or not. Nevertheless, the final decision is made by the implementer and documented with an assessment comment. After committing the evidence, the decision is sent to MOE. A valid evidence on an accepted implementation task is sufficient to complete the implementation. By doing so, the implementer finishes the task and sends a notification to the metric owner. When it comes to technical evidences, this step is not necessary. At the current stage, the synchronization happens on demand with a button click. After a tool like app telemetry has been configured, metrics can be measured continuously. All available assessment results for this cloud service are retrieved and automatically linked to the regarding metrics. After the metric implementer confirms the implementation, the review process is invoked. Back the assignment hierarchy, the roles are informed about the compliance status. The metric owner can track who was the implementer of this metric. The metric owner also receives a task to accept the implementation. If he decides to decline, the implementer has to start all over again. If he accepts, the compliance manager receives a final notification that the implementation has been done and reviewed. The compliance manager can view the details and can track the history of the metric. When the task finishes with the metric not compliant, the compliance manager needs to provide a comment as explanation. In the case of non-compliance, the process for this metric starts again, since countermeasures have to be taken. To better demonstrate the impact of the compliance status to the visualization, we switch to another target of evaluation. This target of evaluation has a yellow icon stating "Not implemented". With only a few clicks, we can navigate to the security control category responsible for this status. From there, all the way down to the one metric not implemented. Just as shown before, the implementation of the metric is confirmed by the implementer, and the users within the review process agree. Since now all applicable metrics are compliant, the target of evaluation shows a green check mark for compliance. After the status of metrics is also communicated to MEDINA, it is possible to retrieve the current certification status of the targeted evaluation with more detailed information from the MEDINA framework.
Further information about the company compliance dashboard can be found using following links. For more information on the components or the MEDINA project in general, visit the MEDINA official web link, where all public deliverables of the project are available. The MEDINA YouTube channel provides demos and training videos. The MEDINA community in Zenodo, that contains among other things papers produced in the project. For additional information about Fabasoft solutions, the underlying technology of the company compliance dashboard, visit the Fabasoft site or the provided links. Thank you for your interest in the company compliance dashboard. Stay secure and be compliant.